Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance at former shop LoneStarMopars.com. A rare Saturday in the shop. It's pretty nice. Just got the Wiha tool haul video done. And now we're going to move into KC tool haul number 8, if I believe correctly. This one we got some really cool stuff. You're going to definitely want to stick around for the end for a very special surprise. But in the meantime, why did I order this time from KC Tool? What made me say, hey, we need to go place an order? That would, of course, as you might have guessed, have been the tool of the day. And this time, it was right here. This, you already know it's Knipex, but do you know what it is? It is a Raptor, as it says on the tag. Part number here will be 8741-250. This is their 10-inch Raptor plier. I believe it's only available in 10-inch. And the price point on this sucker, $34.99 for tool of the day. Sign me up. Now, when I first saw this thing, I was thinking, oh, okay, you know, if you look at it right here, you know, a lot of people would call that a parrot. Obviously, Knipex prefers Raptor, which I gotta say, Raptor does sound a little bit more intimidating. We'll run with that for now, but if you were to look at it right here, does that not look like a wrench to you? You know, at this angle point? Granted, you know, you probably see this as the eye of the parrot or whatever, or Raptor, you know, depending on how you want to look at it. But if I spin this around, you can just picture right here. I mean, what is that? You know, is that our 10mm wrench? It kind of has that look to it, right? This is not the Cobra. There are no teeth on the jaws. This is not an alligator. This is not the pliers wrench. Now, this, a lot of people, I think, seem to kind of be lost with this guy. When I saw it, and the reason I bought it was I was thinking it would be perfect for two things. Number one, tie rods, which if you do any of your own suspension work, or you frequently dial stuff in, like you got a track car or something, that would be really nice. If you're an alignment tech and you don't have this, I would highly recommend it. And if you're looking at it for purposes not related to that, this is going to be real similar, I think, to a channel lock nut buster. I started to bring one from work for comparison, and the problem is the old nut busters at work are like not good for comparison videos because they've been used and abused and they're still functional, but they would not look impressive. That's one of the things with these videos. If it's a direct comparison, if I'm like, I bought a new Raptor because my old one's getting worn out, I'll throw it down and I'll say, I've had this sucker in use for 12 years and it's been a great tool, yada yada, tell you some funny stories. But if I can come in and I can show you the channel lock nut buster that looks like it's, you know, been through hell and back, that's going to make this guy look a little better than maybe it should. So I've ordered a channel lock nut buster, a brand new one. I'll have it here. I actually didn't have one at the house, and we'll kind of compare them there because, again, those are the two purposes I think this would be good for. But again, it was the tool of the day. Let me know if you cashed in on it. Again, I'm up pretty late, and so every night at midnight, you know, I usually have just gotten done working out, or I'm in the process of working out. These things happen when you leave work at, like, you know, 9 o'clock. And, you know, you get your supper eaten, and then you kind of have to let it digest, and you work out, and then you shower. Go to bed and start the next day. Just living the dream, you know. But something I do daily, I check tool of the day, and it's typically, you know, shortly after midnight, and that way if it's in stock, I can hopefully catch it before everyone else does, and it's out of stock. But if you didn't know, tool of the day, if it does go out of stock, you can still cash in on it. But if you are familiar with any of that, actually, thank you. First thing I notice as I articulate this, the always omnipresent issue I have with smashing my fingers is looking like they've factored that in here. So I've heard it's got, you know, like smash protection before, and then I've smashed my fingers, but that's actually, that seems to do the case, and that's on the max opening. But again, you basically have three surfaces here. You've got, you know, your flat 1, flat 2, flat 3. And as you come in, again, I think it would work good on rounded off stuff. We'll have to try it out. Or seized bolts, you know, that type of a thing. But particularly tie rods, I think is where this would shine. And you would be able to just loosen and ratchet as well. Don't want to spend a ton of time on that sucker, but for $35, I think we did pretty dadgum good. Now, keeping with the Knipex theme, we're going to jump into this guy right here. And this is something I don't think I've seen people ever bring in, but I'm sure people have them. And that's why it's good for a tool haul video. We need to make a review on this? Not necessarily, but it works great for this purpose. Now, let me just go straight to the KC tool number here in case you want to order it in yourself. We're going to go with Why can I not find it? 9K 58788. So it is actually, I was thinking that was a different number. I'm not stupid, I saw it. I just thought it didn't sound like a Knipex part number to me. What did this set us back? $6.80 is all. And if you've already been reading this, these are plastic jaws that protect brass and soft material workpieces. It works with cobras and alligators, at least their 10-inch version. We might test it on some of our others, but we get 10 of them or 5 pairs, and I think that's pretty cool. So we might bust them out here in a little bit and see how they fit. Now, the issue with those, do you want to keep them in that plastic bag and just put it in like some little clear storage container in your toolbox or something? How are you going to keep track of those when you actually need them? Well, I went ahead and pulled the trigger on this, and it is looking pretty impressive. It didn't look that great on the website, but the price wasn't bad. What we have here, I'm assuming its part number would be correct. Yeah, is it going to be 9K009011 US? Yeah, okay, so I guess both of these items are actually from Illinois, or they're at least distributed through there. Maybe that's why it wasn't jiving with what I was thinking of. But they just call this a keeper, and it's a great bag for your stuff. I would agree with that. Note that English is listed first here. Keep your stuff together in a Knipex Keeper, a bag as tough as you are. Well, thank you for the kind words, Knipex. This is a great bag for money, toys, papers, parties. I thought that said party supplies. Parts, supplies, lunch, lottery tickets. Okay, you know, I mean, maybe stretching there, bottle openers, and oh yeah, tools. Now, the catch with this guy, I'm going to tell you right now, it actually looks to be really good quality. Now, we're going to figure that out for sure when we open this up, but it might be a little bit more impressive than I thought it was going to be. So that's how it is. Nice packaging, very slick. That actually is cheap and efficient. What else would you expect from the Germans? But check it out. That's a good material. Again, I'm not a seamstress. I just know when I've had things like this in the past, they've lasted. It's not a thin, chinchy material like I thought. This is sort of like the heavier textile version. Oh, nice. Look at the stitching work on that. But what I was thinking I would do with this thing is all the small parts, like this, would go in here. For the price that we paid on this, this might be something I bring back in. $12.89 if I didn't mention that already. These are our 10-inch Raptors that we just brought in, so obviously this would translate to 10-inch pliers, wrench, 10-inch cobras, anything. Oh, that's good. And we've still got space. Okay, this is, we're going to definitely bring in some more of these. I was grabbing it because I thought it would be a nice way for me to keep these together. It's a little bit overkill for that. Now that I see it, you know, I didn't really check dimensions or anything. You'll note that's a common theme when I bring in bags. I just have my idea of a size, and hey, live and learn. But I'll tell you right now, if you've got like a box in your truck, or, you know, a toolbox you keep, you know, in your cars or something, you can throw your plier wrench in here. You can throw cobras, you could keep your Raptor. Obviously, I think the cobra and the pliers wrench would be more useful for roadside repairs, but this is a pretty nice way to keep them separate now. Let's just come in here and we'll grab our big number 3 Wiha, because it's the longest one I have quick access to, and check it out. It fits. It's going to fit just fine. My long files over here, channel lock 318s, boom. Pretty much whatever you wanted to do Knipex wise, considering, you know, it's primarily going to be pliers and tools of that nature. Home free. You can put a good pair of combination pliers in here with like your cobras and stuff, and you've got a dedicated Knipex bag that you could fit under the seat, the rear seat of your truck, possibly some glove boxes. Glove boxes have kind of been neglected, in my opinion, in the automotive industry, but this would probably fit really nicely in a center console, at least in a truck, possibly some cars, you know, if you fold it over a little bit. Bottom line, this thing has exceeded my expectations, and I do think we're going to get another one. My truck, 2001 Dodge, it's a quad cab, right? You know, this is back before we had 4 doors, you know. I could take this and throw it in that little molded storage area under the rear bench, and I could have 5 or 6 really good quality tools in here, and I'm not taking up any floor space. I'm not taking up a height. Like if I throw this in a cheap toolbox, you know, like the Home Depot or, you know, Milwaukee Rigid, any of that stuff, you've got height with it, and that's kind of dead space. You don't typically fill that up. You just got a couple of tools in there. going with the bags might not be a bad idea. And I might be putting that into practice pretty soon. Now, what would be really cool if you could find the same size and quality, and then you had, like, say, your Wiha one for your screwdrivers, your Knipex for your pliers, maybe, you know, some way to distinguish these. If there are different color schemes for wrenches, I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world. You'd probably know what they are. You could throw some label on them. But lots of ideas running through my head right now. And there's also a lot of text messages coming in. So we will leave this set up here for now. I'm going to check my phone real quick, and we will be back. Alright, checked everything, got that under control, and I want to mention here we did have the Vera Spring Flyer. I believe it's the same one as last time. They've got a couple of promotions going on. You can click Vera on the website, they'll take you to the links. Got our free German sticker tool pack, because of course we exceeded the threshold for it. But if you do want this standalone, if you're that type of a person, maybe you just bought the Raptors and you're like, man, I'll never spend over 100 at one time, which is not hard to do. KCT pack is the part number. I've showcased these before. For the sake of making this a shorter video, I'll tell you to check back on those. So we're going to get in now, and this is kind of exciting because I don't know what bit of thinks I got. If you didn't catch my last one, KC Tool Haul number 7, that's our first time. I'm pulling it out right now. There's nothing in it. We've been robbed. Okay, I don't want to spoil what's in this bag, but there's the bit of things, and I don't have a bit in there, so I'm assuming it fell out. I see it down here. It's definitely in there, I believe. But we got number 8 of 24. This is going to be a Wiha 71141, a number 1 by 50 millimeter Phillips titanium long insert bit. So I've accounted for number 8 and number 11. What do you have? Let me know down in the comments section. Maybe we can piece that together. I'm going to try and dump that thing out. You ready for it? Let's see if we can... There we go. Nailed it. Exactly what I wanted to have happen. So here it is. We're getting titanium coated stuff. And I don't know if this is Wiha, you know, wanting to sell more of this, let people know they have it, but dadgum, that's a nice looking bit. If it was a number 2, I'd use the snot out of it. But hey, first chance I get to use it, I'm going to do so. So that is our Bit-O Thinks, and we've got 2 of 24 in our ultimate quest in life to acquire the complete set. Speaking of Wiha bits right here, I've got the 76556. This is just a Terminator impact bit. If you saw my Wiha tool haul, I got a 2-pack of them. I'm thinking this is something I had in the cart and then didn't order, and it stayed in the cart or something, because I don't think I would have bought it since I got the 2-pack from Wiha. But hey, I use these quite a bit. Now when it wears out, we're home free. Standard Terminator stuff, but hey, it's a little bit longer. Covered it in that video. The issue is when I have to unpack the crates at work, every once in a while Rambo runs the impact and he sinks the fastener like, you know, 1.5 inches deep. What happens then is either the collar here, or more than likely my bit holder stops and I can't access it. I have to bring out the folding keys, and that really sucks. So I'm gonna see if I can't maybe get these suckers to drop down in there for me. We got that, and then, and I realize I did something wrong here. It's not a big deal, but we got Wiha part number, no clue. Let me find it over here on the ticket. That little bit, by the way, I believe was $2.04. I got the 2-pack from Wiha for like 6 something if I remember correctly, but 71496, this is their impact rated bit holder, $9.55 from KC Tool. I brought this in a really long time ago. I think I brought it in again, and then I've gotten it in every one of our little Impact Go box sets. I really like it. The problem I have is I'm one short now. Obviously I want to keep the Impact Go box sets together. One of them is in the bag with my Impact, but the problem is the one that I brought in first that I've been using, when I was shooting some screws through the fence, I've had to do a ton of fence repair, I got a bit twisted and it's stuck. I'm going to have to continue to try to get that out. If I had it here in the shop, I would showcase it for you. But in the meantime, this is now my backup that I'll have in the bag. So that's the story on that guy. Coming in next, we've got some pretty cool stuff here. I told you that we're getting a little bit closer. It's a weird deal. Some of you say, oh, you know, more screwdrivers. Do you really need those? And then the rest of you are sitting over here suggesting more screwdrivers to try and telling me I need to pick up, you know, this one, that one, and, you know, the third one. And we're getting close, though, I think, to having enough on hand to make really solid, informed decisions. Now, this right here, I've never experienced. This is from Felo. It is their Frico line. Frico, Frico, I don't know. I'm assuming it's like friction, but it's a very nice looking driver. I've never held it in hand. As you can see, there's a hex bolster there, just like we have on our other Felo drivers, which I had grabbed, and I do not know where they're at now. That's fantastic. We'll have to go looking for those in a second. Part number on this guy is going to be 50699, $9.41 on it. And this is a 5 by 90 millimeter slotted screwdriver with a metal cap. You might not realize that thanks to the black and red color scheme, but that is actually a metal cap. This is a striking cap Felo. And again, I thought, I'm trying to bring in things that I can actually use. I don't want everything to be a number 2 because I feel like I've got, you know, enough number 2s to last me a little while. But this is one that I will put into use as often as I can, see what I think of it. Big item of curiosity for me is, of course, the handle. I love their ergonics, the black and yellow one, but it picks up a ton of dust. And if you were unaware, where I live, there's an awful lot of dust. Today, right now, for example, I think we've got like 40-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and guess what? It's dusty outside, so I know I drive black vehicles. But, we're going to see how this one holds up, see what we think of it. We've now got it added to the test arsenal. And again, somewhere, I tell you what, I'm going to go grab, here they are. I had 3 screwdrivers I wanted to bring over. Now, I mentioned the Felo Ergonics, which is a super freaking nice screwdriver. It's just a deal, it gets so dirty. And there it is. I mean, it's been in the toolbox and it's just like covered in dust. You feel it on your hands for sure. Now, granted, it's a smaller profile right now, and with it being a striking cap, it's not going to have any designation on the top like our ergonics. But I'm excited to test this sucker out. The tip on the Felo Ergonics is one of the nicest tips I've ever seen. This one looks amazing too. Not going to throw it in front of the camera because then everyone would complain about that. But we've got that one there. And then, of course, this is the brand new Felo number 2 from the set. The other number 2 is on a rack back here, and I've used the snot out of it, so some of this is rubbed off. But these are fantastic. I feel like between these 3, and then I do have one of their little stubbies, I think we've got all of their handle styles covered. So might make a video on that. Now, another screwdriver I brought in quite some time ago was the Witte Pro Top. This is 94132, and it's actually been a pretty nice screwdriver. It's sort of like the 3K line. It's cheap, but you use it and you just kind of like it. It got heavy use when I first got it, and then I've kind of slacked off because I've got so much other stuff I'm trying to test. But nonetheless, that's kind of like their bargain basement entry, if you will. And if you weren't sure where that was leading, let me try and take you there. Alright, so we've got the Pro Top, and now we're going to come down with, let me try and find the part number here for this guy. It is going to be the Witte Pro Top 2 Impact, and it is going to be 83802. This is going to be a 4x90. Check it out. There it is, side by side. Again, I guess this guy paved the way and this guy came in. It's got a hex bolster. We've got the branding on the blade. Check it out, though. That is a striking cap screwdriver. That is pretty crazy in my opinion. And the price on that guy is going to be $9.41. Pretty decently priced, I would have to say, for what it is, particularly if you're working with a lot of screws that size. Coming up next from the Pro Top, I guess we would jump up to the Maxpro line. This guy right here, 4x75 for $5.58 is 9T53103. And we kind of changed color schemes here. We've got, grayscale, blue, and black on the tip. Feels pretty good. Obviously, it's a little bit smaller than our Impact guy, which I would say would feel slightly better. But wait, we're not done. In the Maxpro line, we have another step up. And I know some of you, based on that Pro Top, had picked these up and really liked them, told me I had to bring one in, and who am I to disappoint? So this one's a little dirty, but we'll try to get it cleaned up here, and then I'll get it dirty. This guy right here is going to be part number 9T63502. This is a Phillips number 2 because I'm planning to use it quite a bit. 100 millimeter, basically 4-inch. 1579. This is one of those funky looking screwdrivers. It doesn't really get a lot of attention compared to, say, Wiha and Vera, if you will. But it's familiar to me, and for good reason. Now, the way you would want to look at this one is that it is designed for nasty stuff. When your hands are covered in transmission fluid or oil, this would be the type of driver you would want to pick up. We've got a hex bolster, and we've got the same, Tang design. It's got our number 2x4". Pretty decent looking tip. You can kind of see the Witte branding there. Sort of you can pick up on the way this would feel. The way that looks is exactly how that feels. Kind of looks like speckle paint from like the 80s and 90s, but it's almost, if you were to cross the way that feels with like soft felt, some combination in between that range is what we would be looking at. And again, I'll probably do like a comparison video between these. At work, I've got this Lawson one, probably dating back to the early 90s maybe. I think Witte does some like branded screwdrivers for companies. And it's yellow, it's got the Lawson color scheme, it's got this same stuff. Over time, this gets like fuzzier and weird. I don't know if it's dust sticking to it or usage. It doesn't look like it's been dirty too much. It was used a lot. Might try to get a picture of that one for you. But we brought that guy in. So we've expanded our Felo line. We have expanded our Witte line. I think we've covered all handle styles of both of those now, which that was one of the goals I was working up to. One of the brands that remains elusive is Suzette. Their stuff is really expensive, and another brand that's also really expensive but not quite as bad is Stahlwille. I know you're getting excited now, perhaps, right? Right here, this is going to be part number ST46303002. This is going to be their 4630 Drall. I believe I would be pronouncing that right. It could be D-Roll, I don't know, Doctor-Roll. Whatever you want to do, if you know, let me know. Catch with these, you can't find anything on these online. I've never seen anyone bring one in. I've never seen anyone buy a set. I've never seen a showcase on it. I don't see pictures of it on Instagram or Twitter. That's one of the reasons I've waited so long. Also, every time I would order, and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to throw in a Stahlwille screwdriver, see what we think of them. They were out of stock. Now, KC Tool has announced that they're stocking more Stahlwille stuff. When I think of Stahlwille, I sort of lean towards like wrenches, ratchets, sockets, aviation type stuff, torquing in particular, I think is what they're known for. But they've got some pretty cool stuff, and it's pretty high quality. From what I've been told, you would sort of view them as the Snap-on of Germany. But again, if you're in the aviation field and you're the preferred supplier for people that build airplanes, that's pretty high praise. So expensive but high praise. Now, something I like on this, just like with other items I brought in from Stahlwille, this side here, like let's say you had this in your drawer, you got the branding on that side, and then if you're the type, if you needed to flip this one, if you were storing it handle to handle, for example, you would have the branding right side up. Either way you go. On the blade itself, we've got the designation. We got 4630, which is part number, 2x100, made in Germany. The tips are supposed to be very, very nice, very durable. What's interesting to me is the handle now. Right there's pretty cool. Does that have the size? Oh, thank you, Stahlwille. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. Number 2. So many times people have the same handle size, and when this is in a stand or a bag, and you know it's Phillips, you're still going to have to pull out like 2 or 3, depending on what you've got, to figure out which one is the number 2 or the number 3, the number 1, etc. Now, when the handle's a little fatter for a 3 and thinner for a 1, not a huge deal. But for the average person, that's a very, very nice feature. So that's cool. I was unaware that they did that. It feels pretty good. I'm going to make a standalone video on these to try and keep this one a little bit shorter. And I say these for good reason, because as best I know, we have this type of a design. If I didn't tell you, the price on that was $17.92, I believe. Well, who am I to disappoint? We're going to come in right here. ST48301002. This is going to be Stahlwille 4830 3K draw number 2x100. And the price on this guy, $14.40. Both of these were in stock, and I have looked at particularly this one for quite some time. I've not felt this in hand yet. I'm going to resist the temptation. We're going to bring it down. Obviously, you can see things are different. Things have changed. You've got a total different design. You've got a total different medium there. On the blade itself, we've got 2x100, number 2x4, which is nice for those of us in America. No made in Germany stamping, but rest assured it is. Both have an anti-roll feature. Part number pulled back here. This is actually intended. A lot of times I tell people, like, you know, you just want to hang the screwdriver and not use it for torque. This is actually designed to have, you know, another handle pass through and get you some extra leverage if you need it. They didn't give an exact spec. I believe their words was a considerable amount of force. It was something rather vague, but it sounded impressive. Now, we've got the green and black color scheme. You've got Stahlwille 3K Drall right there. That's kind of hard to see in camera. It's also kind of hard to see in person for what it's worth. We'll spin that around again. Got the same thing, but as expected, it's going the other direction, which again, if you're a stickler for sorting and organizing, that's nice. Now this, where that's kind of got like the bulged ergonomic handle like you would see on this Maxpro and our Felos and our Wihas and the Vera stuff, this is a different design. This is kind of like some older SK stuff or something. This is a little bit softer and it feels like there's more material than the Maxpro, and the reason I bring that up, we just literally pulled that out of the bag. So what this, from what I can understand with Stahlwille, and I believe these are their only two options, this is like your everyday use, and this is Transmission Man with greasy and oily hands. I'm going to go into, again, we'll do dedicated videos on Felos, the Witts, and these Stahlwilles. The downside with all this stuff, as is often the case, price prohibitive, at least here in the US. Like when you consider that, you know, between these two screwdrivers, I've got like $32 roughly invested in them. You could get a 5-piece set of the Felos, you know, for like $20. You could get a really nice set of Wiha or Vera for less than that. I'm talking a set, you know, 5-7 pieces in some cases. And that's kind of the same thing for the average person. You know, if you're a hobbyist at home, looking around at tools, you know, Snap-on, you're looking at like $23, $24 driver. The Knipro stuff, same price point, crazy stuff. They're good tools, but it's a situation where Wiha and Vera make some really nice stuff too, and you can get sets for the price of one driver in many cases. And I'm assuming that's why we haven't really seen people bring these in. I'm going to get this guy out because he was not brought in this video. But I'm thinking kind of like that's sort of my logic, is why I've never seen a video on this stuff, is just the price point. And why would you bring this in when you found that you love Wiha or Vera or Felo and it's so much cheaper? And for me, again, this is kind of an experiment, and we got so deep into it, I thought, well, we just as well do it proper type of a scenario. They'll definitely get used. I really actually do kind of like the aesthetics of these guys, but I think that's honestly why you haven't seen them. It's not that they're bad tools. It's not that people hate black and green, which is actually pretty unique, I have to say. Vera, people seem to not mind it there. It's just a situation where the price throws people away. Like, it's easier to justify $35. You know, granted that was tool of the day, but you can still be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But for a lot of people, you know, and to be fair, these are actually cheaper than Snap-on. They're cheaper than the Max I brought in. They're cheaper than Knipros. And of course, when you buy a set, you do save money, but it's hard to bring a set in blindly. That's why I like with Felo, you know, I start with the number 2 wood handle or the ergonics, and you kind of see what you like and then make, you know, the bigger investment. I bring all this up for a good reason. I'm planning a standalone video on the Felos, standalone video on the Witte stuff, which you don't see a lot with them, and to be fair, they're much more reasonably priced than, you know, your Stahlwille stuff. But I feel like these are worth taking an extended look at, and I think some people might actually prefer them. And again, when you get them in set form, you know, and you factor in that they're typically going to be less than you would pay, you know, for some tool truck brands, I think it's worth taking a look at. So that, though, my friends, is the end of KC Tool Haul number 8. We got the tool of the day, the Raptor, for $34.99. I'm going to probably make a comparison with these because I've got some other stuff that we're going to throw in. We got these guys I'm going to try out. Again, my initial plan was to just get this bag to throw those in, which I'll probably do, but this bag is awesome, and it's so big. It fits pretty much all of the code, you know, 10-inch and smaller. Your linesman's pliers, anything you've got from Knipex, really, under 10 inches. That's a super nice bag, and it's reasonably priced too, so that was an awesome purchase. We got bit number 8 of 24 to go 11 of 24. I got some another Wiha bit holder, a Terminator impact bit, which I didn't even realize I'd bought, and some really cool screwdrivers. So we are getting closer to the end of the tunnel. You know, we're making progress, we're acquiring more and more, and you know, I feel like we're getting very close. So I get a lot of people hitting me up for PB Swiss. I'll eventually make it happen. I'm trying to catch that stuff on sale, which they're not terribly priced either. They're a little bit more, but you know, I've only heard good things. So if you got a good source for those with good pricing, let me know. But I think that's it. So if you've used the Raptors, let me know what you think of them. If you've used these jaw protectors also, do they work good? How long do they last? My fear, especially since they're including 5 pairs, is they might be like a one job type of a deal. You know, maybe if you just had like literally one faucet fixture, like chrome plated thing you're trying to tighten up, maybe you can pull them off and reuse them again. If you had multiple pairs, I guess you could just keep them on there for as long as you needed them, but I'm kind of afraid if you apply a lot of torque or need leverage with them, I don't know if they're going to tear through or not. So if you have any experience with these, let me know. It'd be nice to know in advance. But pretty good stuff, I have to say. I'm very, very excited about testing these guys out, seeing how they stack up. And with that said, we will wrap the video up. Do want to mention, though, I got this from Wiha Direct. You can get these from KC Tool for about 12 and change. Limited to 500, and they are actually stamped on the back. So cash in on that if you're a big Wiha fan, or just kind of like the odds and end collectibles from your favorite tool companies. But let me know your thoughts on all this stuff. If you've used any of these drivers, what you prefer. Let me know if you kind of, I mean, because like I said, you know, I feel like I've watched quite a few videos and tool hauls. Always neat to see what people bring in, why they bought it, you know, if it was on sale, where they got it, what they're planning to do with it, so on and so forth. And all the videos I've consumed and all the neat things I've seen other people buy and bring in, I've honestly never seen anyone with either of these two drivers. So again, I'm thinking it's like a price thing type of a deal. But let's bring some recognition to them. Let's check them out, see what we think of them. LoneStarMopars.com is a website. Check out the forum. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram in particular seems to be where I post things and there's actually feedback on them. So we'll probably stick to that. You can find us on Facebook as well. One more item here, though, and it's really cool. And we're going to get it set up here. And we'll wrap it up on that note. So make sure you check this one out, and I'll catch you back in just a second. Alright, so here it is, guys, the grand finale. That is right, KC Tool banner. Big thanks to Colin. True story on those little, when you place an order, you always have that little blank at the end if you have like questions, comments, order instructions. Typically I'm just like, hey, if you don't ship, you know, postal service, send it to this address type of deal. But I could not find, you got to remember, I order this stuff like super late at night, no one's there to chat with, etc. So I wanted to see, since I was bringing in all the Witte stuff I could to try and get all their handles covered, my question was if they had the natural cork rubber. If you go to their site and you look at Witte screwdrivers, there's these ones that are natural cork rubber. They look very similar to sort of like their greasy screwdriver. I wanted to bring one in to test. You know, I didn't want to have to like get the whole set, and typically you can do that, but I could never find it, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to see if they have that. And sadly, you can only get that as a set, which I might do eventually, like if the channel ever generates income or something. But I'm excited to try those out. It's just, again, that's kind of prohibitive with the set. And then my other thing that came to my head at like 2 or 3 in the morning when I placed my orders, it's like, hey, you know, do you guys you know, why don't you sell like shop banners and stuff? And lucky for me, included in this package, I got the card, and it looks like Colin was the culprit. So I will definitely enjoy this thing. I'm going to finally get it hung up this weekend as I've got some time in the shop. I think I've got a spot picked out. I've got the ladder in the house, and instead of going and getting the ladder, I'm going to be cool and try to just use the table. So rest assured, when I use the cable ties to secure it to the wall, it will be cut only with German tools. I haven't decided if I'm going to let the Stahlwille needle nose do it or just the Knipex pliers, but that's pretty awesome. It's going to look good in the shop every time people come over here. It's going to be something they see. It'll be some conversation point. If they don't know, they'll be like, what is that? You know, I've never heard of KC Tool. I can explain it to them and maybe lead to new customers. But regardless, it's going to look awesome in the shop. I've got another order that should be at the post office. I'm not sure if it's like locked in a big box I have to go inside for, or just one of the smaller ones you get a key in your own box for. But when we take a look at that stuff at the end of that video, I will show it to you on the wall. So stay tuned for that. Again, big thanks to KC Tool. Fantastic place to do business with. Tons of stuff that you would have a very hard time finding and accumulating on your own. And very nice now to have the banner in the shop. I'm kind of a big sign and banner guy. I think that's sort of like the best decoration in my opinion. But very cool. Again, thanks to Colin and KC Tool. And I'll catch you guys back here for KC Tool Haul number 9, which is currently waiting for me at the post office. So stay tuned for that. I'll catch you back here for more from the shop.